Yo, what's up? Where you finna go? Where y'all finna go? Where y'all finna go? Okay. Anyway, I told you I'm gonna start talking like that because that's how I kick it anyway. And tonight I want to talk about the celebration of my youngest kid going off to college. What it was like being a dad. What it was like having my first kid at 20 years old in 1993. And what it's like to be at the end. Tonight is the night. My kid, we just took him to the airport. He flew out. He went to college today. It's supposed to happen back in September, but just from the pandemic happening, it never happened as fast. So the kid was walking around upset, mad, just being, because they cut the prom off, they cut all these things off. So I'm gonna actually talk about those things. Got to kick with y'all a little bit. So I want you to smash that like button, subscribe, get at your boy Hoodfilms. We right here. This shirt is my other business and my other company that I'm kicking off. I ain't got it going yet. I just actually love the name Hood the Filmmaker. So just you can check me out at Hood the Filmmaker too on some of the little social media sites and all that there. But right now, we're talking about the situation with my little kid going off to college. So before I get going, I'm finna light up. This is called Pink Runs. I make sure I get a nice amount of that to have myself a good weekend. And today I'm celebrating my youngest kid because I had my first kid who is 27 today. Well, not today, but of age. And he's a great kid too. But he grew up with me. I had to go to court to keep him in my life. Me and his mother didn't really see eye to eye. But I kicked it with my little oldest son, and I love him. And he became a great kid. He graduated from Howard University, and he's been doing his thing. And so, along the way, found another young lady, had a baby with her. Boom, boom. That baby just turned 18. Supposed to went off to college in September, but the pandemic, the school was shut down. He had USC in LA, so it didn't work out. He had to sit here at the crib. So not only did they cut their prom off, but they also cut off their go off to college time. So this kid for me was born during the 9/11 situation. So 9/11 happened in September. My kid was born in June, 9 months later. So literally, right when the 9/11 happened, my kid was a 9/11 baby. I was in my mid-20s, so I was just kicking it anyway. But I think back to those times now and how it was to be a father, how it was to be in his life on a daily basis from the time he was in the hospital and they said he couldn't swallow. And I had to go and kick it with him every day to help him drink a bottle. He had to get familiar with that. I'm talking about fresh out the belly. 3-4 days, every single day. I had to do it for like 7 days till he learned how to drink from a bottle because he was drinking through the umbilical cord, eating that way. So I did that. Then eventually he just came home with us and then started growing up. And in any relationship, me and my lady, we had our ups and downs. We broke up. It's just shit goes on. And eventually I had another kid. But with the first kid mother, who I used to have all the problems with, but then I had a stupid, you might go through this in life, hopefully not, but I did. So eventually my youngest kid and me and his mother, we rekindled, we got back together, and then we went for the long haul, and then we stuck it out. And our stresses became a team and a family, and I was able to go out there. But it's tough being a family man because it's the family idea sometimes is stoked into the whole 9 to 5 reality where you're supposed to go to work and have a job. You get off on the weekends. You take a kid to the events or whatever, and mom and pop stuff and stuff like that. That's normally the process, but as an entrepreneur, that's not the normal situation because my father actually he hustled on the streets, and then eventually he became a firefighter. But he also taught us how to hustle on the streets as kids, which my mother's father taught him. So my grandparents taught him. So it allowed me to learn how to hustle on the streets for myself. And I learned how to make money from products I had. So eventually as a kid, we sold umbrellas, Michael Jackson buttons, cups, hats, scarves, gloves. Eventually, I didn't know you could put your name on things. But I used to want to do that. Even as a kid, I used to be like, I want to put my name on this stuff, and you could sell it, umbrellas and things of this nature. So even at my age now, that was something that never went away in my mind. So now you know about online selling and all these things. But we were not trying to, we were actually selling on the street. As kids, when the Bears won the Super Bowl in Chicago, we ran downtown Chicago to sell because my father was like, there's a crowd out there, they're going to be out there, let's go get it. And that's what we did. So when I became a grown man and I started selling on the streets, Lollapalooza, all that stuff that's going on in Chicago right now, right downtown on top of that shit, hitting them up at those events because that's just something that I was taught as a kid. So by knowing that, I learned that you could never be out of money because by creating something, which is what a product is, but it just wasn't created by you. It was created by somebody else that had a jacket, a pants, a socks, a shoe, and they sell it. And that's what it is. So by knowing that thing, that idea that something can be created and you can sell it, I was locked in, and I just never turned from that. So aside from filmmaking, I always sold, but it wasn't online all the time. It was always selling directly to humans. So when I had that gift, because I could talk, I could say different stuff, make people laugh, talk different languages. Oh, it'll make you dance. Hey, I got change for the million. And just doing a different little spiel that I give, which is slogans that I came up with in different languages. You learn how to speak people's languages just so you can sell to them and stuff like that. And it just become a part of my life. And so I did that during the time of being a father for my kids. So every day he knew where I was going. I was right on the street getting it, selling to people. And so even when I went to Hollywood, and that was like a thing for me 10 years ago, I came back to Chicago and I still did what I did, which is hustle on the streets every single day, getting money, taking care of myself, no boss, no people I got to talk to. I'm doing it myself. And some people say, well, Daddy, you're supposed to create a system, and then you don't have to stand there. It's going to happen for you. And then you just come and get the money. And it's like, yeah, but then what do I do about all this talking shit? See, the talking shit, I have to do that. I can't just sit back and be like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll just be over here on this beach and shit and, type on a laptop. Like, what the fuck is that going to do? I got to talk shit. I got to talk about all kind of shit and talk about everything. So even at Hoodfilms channel, while you can see hood movies and you can see hood events and hood da-da-da-da-da, you also go hear me talking about different things, about different matters, about different social events and different ideas because that's who I am. I like to do that. And the only reason why I wasn't doing that on YouTube all this time, because as you probably already know, this YouTube page is 10 years old. I opened this YouTube page in 2011, April 3rd. But I never really used it because my thought and notions was, hey, man, if you start talking like this online and you just have a communication with people like this, you're going to look crazy. People will look at you upside your head. It's like, well, that's the whole world. I mean, look at this. I went to undergrad school, right? My undergrad degree is literally in speech. They call it speech communications. I'm not even fucking joking with you. I went for television and film, but that is in that school a derivative of speech and communication. So like reporting is in that. I don't know what else. It's all kind of shit. Media production, where you're not necessarily making film, but you're doing stuff for television, news and shit like that. It's just all kind of shit was in those degrees. So I was like, oh, that's what I like and that's what it is. They had the equipment for all of this shit, but when you actually had your degree in your physical hand, it says speech. It's actually don't even say speech and communication. It just say speech. Literally just say speech. And that was a time that we was in school, and they was like, damn, what if I don't want my damn degree to say speech? I wanted to say what the fuck I got. And so some of the people was trying to petition to get them to change it. They wasn't going to change it during the time I was there. So we had to get out of there with a degree to say fucking speech on it. But you obviously tell the people and apply for the jobs, however it was, blah, 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 blah. That's what they told us. So that's what it was. Chicago State University on the south side of Chicago. That's why I went and got my undergrad. I went to Columbia College for filmmaking, but I couldn't finish because it cost so much money and I had to leave, blah, 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 blah. But I made sure I shot films no matter what. I didn't give a damn about no damn school. I was just making sure I'm shooting movies. And I did that on a daily basis. So that's what my degree was in. So I just made sure that I talked. And then I found out a word called logorrhea, which you should look this word up yourself because it's funny. Because it's spelled like diarrhea. And you can already imagine and know what the word diarrhea is. You already know what it is. Logorrhea is the same thing that diarrhea is, except it's from the mouth. They call it log because while you're speaking, you're logging. Someone could be logging down what you're saying. It's logorrhea. It's called logorrhea. Look it up. Logghrea. Rhea, like diarrhea. I forgot how you spell it. H-R-E-A, something like that. But it's funny because that's some true shit. And I looked that word up, and it's so funny because I think I told my wife a long time ago, like, damn, look at this word Rhea. Ain't this a funny word? And now she be saying that shit about me. So it's like, don't fucking joke like that with me. But it's funny because it's just, anyway. That being told to you, today I'm celebrating my kid going off to college because I know he's going to go out there and get educated and learn and see a new town and jump out the porch and kick it and do all that. That's why I'm standing up today in this show. Normally, I sit down and I be talking. But I wanted to set up today. And I wanted to just kick it with y'all and just talk to you. And it's like, until the video stop, really. Until the video stop. Oh, what am I doing? Like, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscription button. I'm going to tell you why. If you subscribe or if you like it, that make videos like this go further so people can see me talk smack, kick it, talk about being a father, talking about what it was like to have a kid around me all these years, being there, coming to the crib, the psychological effect of having to make sure you're a parent, feeding him. He getting to the point where he don't want to even hear from you no more. And it's like, I had it tough as a kid because my father was a physical abuser. Beat your ass all the time, physically. So I didn't want to be like that for my kids. So by the time my kids started to get 17, 18, 16, and all that shit, I thought I did a good job. Like, well, shit, that was easy. To about 17. And then it turned into something different. And then I was like, what the hell? Well, okay, 18, okay, shit, he gonna go off to college, and these motherfuckers pop off a pandemic. And so now it's like, oh shit. Now he walking around here like a young bull, like, look, goddammit, this what the fuck. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so this what I was like at 18? And I'm thinking to myself, like, but yeah, your father was beating the shit out of you. What the fuck you mean? And then I tell my son, like, why you acting like this? I don't beat the shit out of you. And he looking at me like, yeah, but you be talking to me and you be telling me stuff. And I'm like, why the fuck is that making you act? And my wife got to tell me, like, just because you didn't have the same childhood as him don't mean you might not have the same effect on a person with words. I'm thinking, like, what? You mean to tell me that me saying, yo, I want to talk to you about this and I think you should do this, and like, hey, man, listen, and talking is the same as, come here, or even worse. And I'm like, oh my God. So he even get to the point where he yelling at the point where this is the latter part, like weeks ago rather. Don't talk to me until I leave town. And it's like, oh my God. I'm actually getting mad. I'm like, no, hold the fuck on. Who the fuck? But I know I gotta be, I did know that. I'm like, it's on. It's just on. And my wife was like, that's your kid. And I'm thinking like, yeah, but she's like, no, listen, that's your kid. And so in my family, with my wife, we have a joke, but it's just between her and me. And so the joke is this. Frankenstein. We created, when my son started going through this phase, a Frankenstein, because Frankenstein wasn't the monster. Frankenstein was the doctor. It was the Dr. Frankenstein. And so if the monster is acting fucking crazy, then it's Frankenstein who fucking did it because he created it. So, yeah, when the monster die, your ass gotta die with it. Or when a kid go crazy, he's going crazy because it's a reflection of you. And so you can't always go in and say, yo, listen to me. I know this how it's gotta go, because it's gonna blast even further because he only blowing up because you Frankensteined him. You created this thing. Now, how you created it might take weeks, months, days, hours, time, so whatever you did, and then the kid just embellied this, and then eventually it's time to blow up at you, and it's like you sitting back like, and I remember doing this to my father, but I felt like, you put your fucking hands on me again, nigga. I'm 17. It's on in this bitch. I wouldn't even hit on my kid. So I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is wrong? What is happening? So I had to learn something that I didn't even know existed, and that's emotional and psychological trauma that people go through. And I couldn't even imagine it because I felt like, well, shit, I went through emotional trauma, I went through psychological trauma, I went through emotional, psychological, physical, emotional. Is there any more? Okay, well, I went through all that, bagging all that shit up, and that's what I was going through. And it's like, well, that's not today, and you gotta act like what she was telling me, that whatever you went through, you survived it. So now you gotta understand that another kid is going through something. And I'm thinking, like, what? I'm the whitest black daddy in America. How the hell is he gonna say that I had gave him a bad fucking childhood? I could have just been out here some fucking where in the goddamn streets. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just chill. And I just chilled. And I had to sit back and just chill. And that's the good thing about this too, because it helped me get through the psychological part of it myself, because I was thinking, like, again, I was doing a good thing as a dad. I'm around. I'm not, fucking up shit. I'm not in jail. I'm like, come on, man. I got my degrees. I'm gonna teach you how to educate yourself. Teach you how to be a man on a daily basis. How you take care of yourself. How you take care of your family. How you take care of your wife. How you take care of your bills. How you take care of everything. How you educate yourself. How you take care of your children. But at the end of the day, the kid is a person, and how much he take in and how much he get tired of taking, and he don't want to take it no more. And I was like, damn. You definitely learn about childhood. You definitely learn about adulthood when you got a kid. And one day, every human out there might have one. But if you don't have one, you're going to know some. Your family, your friends, somebody at work, you're going to be around them. And they're going to be growing up. And you got to give them a chance to breathe and spread their wings. And so I was so happy when he got a chance to go to LA, and it was like him and his friends was thinking, like, well, we can't go to the physical school because it's too pandemic time. What are we gonna do? And they came up with a plan where they would get themselves an apartment somewhere in LA. And I was like, hey, do it. So as a father, I'm always telling my son, look, motherfucker jump in your face, you stand your ass back like this, you get your motherfucking stance, you know what I'm saying? You pivot, you know what I'm saying? You square up and shit. I always told my son this kind of shit because this is what my father told me, and I'm thinking like this is the happenings in life and shit. One day somebody gonna get in your face, and might want to fight you. You gotta be able to touch it. You gotta straighten up. You gotta have your shit together. You gotta be able to block, and you gotta, what if you get to the ground and this how you push a motherfucker off you? I was telling my son this shit all the time. I mean, all the fucking time. Hey, look, you put your hands up, you fight. I was constantly telling my son this shit. I just thought that this is what you do because I was a young man growing up. And I had to fight people. I had to keep motherfuckers up off me. And it was a constant thing. And even as a grown man, you could be somewhere and somebody just pull it out, the sky blue. Hate on you because you're talking to a girl. Hate on you because of what you dress. It's life. And so I was constantly telling my son this, like, look, man, this how you deal with this. If a motherfucker say this shit to you, this what you do. If a stranger walk up on you, this how you handle it. If a motherfucker trying to rob you, I didn't felt like that's what it was because I told you that my father had us selling on the streets. So not only were we selling on the streets, we was learning about so much stuff just being on the streets every day. How people accost you, how people try to rob you, what they gonna say, how they look. If a motherfucker standing right there, what it is. So by the time I became a grown man and I started selling on the street, I was so keen to every fucking thing that I had growing up with a father that was teaching me so much stuff. Then being a grown man and having to go hustle on the street to make money for my family. When I'm seeing the robbers, I'm seeing the shakers, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing these guys, I'm seeing everybody who got a plan, everybody who out here on shit, and I'm out here on just grinding, just hustling. But I'm seeing so much because of the time that I was trained as a child by my father that I hated that shit. I was like, God damn, quit talking to me about this shit. I'm tired of this motherfucking shit. But he, as a parent, he kept pushing it. So then finally I became a grown man. And those experiences helped me get through it. I was like, damn, okay, this is what father was talking about. This is what my man was saying. These motherfuckers, my man was going to tell me how they was going to come at you. He told me they was going to bring the shit that you like. And all these kind of shit that was going on in my life. And I was like, okay, bet. So as a grown man, I drilled that in my motherfucking son's kid. And he said, okay, cool. Well, I'm like, who is this motherfucking friend that you got? Because your motherfucking friend, you get, man, they niggas will pull it and all this. And then I found out that my son's friend was a white kid. I said, what the fuck? A white kid? And that was the one time as a parent where I was stuck because I'm like, I don't got no advice for no person with a white kid as their friend. Like, what the fuck? And it was the first time I also had to realize that everything you teach him, it might not even be relevant if you got a white damn kid as a friend, because but maybe it also would be. Obviously, that really did happen, but it was just funny to me because I said I was teaching them so much stuff in my mind about what it was like and what things could be because I grew up in a predominantly black experience. And then when I found out that this kid, homie, was a white person, it was like shocking to me, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I gotta actually go read and shit. Like, okay, how did you have a black kid from the hood with a white homie, and what kind of dichotomy does that have? And I actually probably should write a book about the information that I came up about that shit because I obviously didn't know, and so that's just what that was. So, I'm celebrating having my sons and being in my life for 27 years when I first had my first kid to today, almost 30 years later, to all of them being adults now and away from home. And I'm just kicking it like I don't even know what to expect. So I thought to myself that, I made this page so many years ago and I would have been on it every single day. I just didn't really understand what YouTube was. I spent a lot of time on the other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, we name them. And so I use this more sparingly. But with me being a filmmaker, making series, making stories, making ideas, telling stories, talking about my life, talking about the films I want to create, you talking to me about the short and the stories that you want to see, and I love to create them. I love to put my heart and soul into them because that's what this channel is all about, is creating stories. A lot of stories come from the hood because that's where it is for me. We survive the streets, making it in the hood every day. And to be at this age and to have kids as adults and to still be creating art, which is the film and the filmmaking part of my life, which is really the only thing I do, that allows me to tell you stories that I believe you should know. Just like my new movie, Kill a Rapper, which I heard a song in 2007 from KRS-One. And when I heard the song, it was called Kill a Rapper. I was like, damn, it just hit me. So I had immediately wrote a script. And then just like most filmmakers, I had no money to make the movie. 13 years later, I ran into some great producers, and they was like, Hood, I'm going to help you make this movie. And I'm like, but at this time, I had tried out so many times with different actors, and each actor, when we got kind of going in the movie, they would quit the film. It's just how it is. And they would have these great excuses, like I got a job in China, and it was nothing you could do. You spend money to try to make something happen, and then all of a sudden, it crashed. So what I decided to do was, when the producers came to me, I said, I'm going to play the main character. And like that, they was like, cool, let's do it. And I was like, what? Because I felt like it's been 13 years and I've been trying to get this movie done. But if I play the main character, I'm not finna quit the movie. I'm gonna make sure we get this fucking film done. So what happened was, right when the film got done, the pandemic hit. The pandemic, who could have thought that? I mean, I didn't know. I got the finish done, it's edited, it's ready, and the pandemic hit. And so we go through the distribution craziness and it just big crash and burns. So in 2021, I decided it's January 1st. I'm putting this movie out right now. I don't care. This is my channel. I'm opening up my channel right here at Hoodfilms so you can see my movie. It's called Kill a Rapper. It's an hour long. It's a dope story. It's so good of a story, man. I want you to sit back and okay, maybe I got time to watch it right now. Come back and watch this story. Click one of those cards up there. It's going to say new movies, Kill a Rapper, something like that. Check it out. And what's going to happen is you're going to sit back and say, you know what? I see the psychology of what this person was trying to make about this movie. And we got so many actors in it. It's probably like about 30 different actors in the movie. All Chicagoans, all people from the city, all put their heart and soul into being in this film. And so it was a really hard thing to bring about because we had to have a amalgamation of people to come and bring it together. But we did it. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who put their heart and soul in this. And when you get a chance to check it out, leave a comment, share it, like it, talk to the people about it, bring this kind of story that I wrote in this movie back out and keep it going. Because I thought that this story had some legs. I just thought, I wrote it so long ago and it took so long to make it happen that show you that I was hard working and put my heart and soul into this craft of filmmaking, and I was not going to let this go and just be like, yeah, I wrote a script, yeah, whatever. It's like, no, this story got to be out here. And now that I finished the film, it'll live in the world forever. And so people could come and see it maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and understand the psychology that we was trying to put out here or the message that we was trying to put out here. with this movie. So it's gonna be dope, man. And I'm glad y'all checking me out. I'm glad y'all checking out this video. This is my celebration hanging out video with you right here at the Hoodfilms channel. It's like a party for me because my youngest son just left home. They call it an empty nest. And I'm sitting back like, what the fuck? That's a funny little theory because it's empty nest just like a bird. But it is like when a young kid go and leave home, because most animals, or some animals, they leave the baby when they're born. Or the baby life can be threatened with it, that the predator is close by when the baby born. And so we got to the point where the baby is just out on his own. And I remember that being for myself. I remember having struggles and sleeping in cars and not having a dollar, not having a way to make money, and just feeling crummy. You know what I'm saying? But knowing one day in my life that I was going to have a chance to become a filmmaker, that if it was ever a chance to do anything, that I was going to dedicate my life, my personal life, to making films. Because it was no cameras, it was no digital, nothing, no cell phones or nothing like that. But it was a way. And so the way was that you had to go down to these schools, you had to meet people on sets, and I spent years just walking up on sets. I spent years talking to people in schools, just being a filmmaker, just doing it. So that's why I do it today. And so on this channel here, it's freedom. It's complete freedom. I got movies already up here right now that you can see. I got short videos like this where I'm talking about different issues and stuff like that. I'm trying to have fun, and I know you're going to have fun when you come here because there's a lot to check out. There's a lot to get involved in. I also tell you about the process of me having a page for 10 years and only like 95 subscribers, and how YouTube treats a page like that or a channel like that, how YouTube treats you, how I've been posting now, how frequently I post, what my posts are about. That's what I'm gonna tell you about, because it's okay for me to do that, because I feel like right now, this is an awesome challenge. Could you imagine that? Having a YouTube page for 10 years and barely posting in the last 5 years, maybe once or twice, every 2 or 3 months, if that many. That's not even that much. I'm talking about 10 to 15 months I don't be posting on here. But now the frequency has been lifted. I got a few series popping on this channel, and we're gonna do so much more. You know, having no kids to have to look after, that they kind of looking after themselves, it allowed me to kind of touch bases with a lot of other elements in my life that I always wanted to do. And these things that I can't really necessarily just lay out right here, that because I don't have them all like in my mind like that, just popping out right there. But traveling obviously could be one, and you know, just doing different things like that I always want to try out in life. And I'm gonna try to do some of those things and show you right here on this page. I promise you that the things that I go after, and you can almost call it like a bucket list, that I'm gonna put the information right here on this page, so you can be like, okay, yeah, I see that. You know, I don't like that. That was dumb. So you'll be able to give me some feedback. So let me know too in the comments if you just left home, or if your kid about to leave home, or if they're gone from home, and what it's like for you to be at this point in your life. Just like I told you right here on this page and this channel. Thank you for coming over here at YouTube. Come and check out Hoodfilms. I appreciate y'all.